everyone. I know it's been a while, so I wanted to take this Sunday afternoon and do a prepping video with you. I hope that you like what I'm making for this week. It's really simple, basic stuff, but it's going to help me be more organized and have stuff to grab and go with throughout the week. So I'm going to show you a few different things I'm making for the week. So I'm going to go ahead and start by turning you down so that you can see. I am starting out with a 9x13 baking pan, and the first thing I'm going to make is going to be a whole chicken. I got this chicken today. It was on sale and I believe it was 97 cents a pound. So I'm going to go ahead and just bake this up, and then we can use it for lunches. My daughter likes to, just eat the meat. She'll take a big handful of meat with her to school or throw it in a tortilla because, she's not keto or carnivore. And then we'll use the bones and we'll make some broth out of it this week. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to start by opening this bag up. And now there's different schools of thought, and you can choose what you like to do best. I've heard though that you don't have to rinse chicken because that actually spreads more germs throughout the kitchen than just putting it directly into the pan. So if you are one of those that likes to rinse your chicken, go for it. But I never do, so this is just how I do it. As you can tell, it does have some gizzards in there, and you can go ahead and use those. You can cook those up. I think what I'm going to do though is I'm going to cook these up and I'm going to give them to my cats because I'm trying to get them to go a little more healthy and I'm trying to get them to lose weight. So I'm going to put these to the side for now, and I'll cook those up later. And I saw that it does have one of these soaker pads, so we want to make sure and remove that. And then all we're going to do is we're going to season it. And to season it, we're going to use some spices over here and salt it. So bear with me for just a minute while I wash my hands, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And so the spices that I'm going to use to stuff the cavity is going to be bay leaves and sage. The reason that you put it inside the cavity is because as it cooks, it will permeate the meat with all of that. And I have my tongs here because I don't want to touch the chicken because I'm going to be touching spices and I don't want cross-contamination. So I'm going to go ahead and use the tongs to open up the cavity. I'm not sure if you can see how well I'm doing that, but I'm just spreading the cavity open, and I'm going to throw in a couple of bay leaves. I think we'll do 3. And then let me get some sage out. And if I were going to be putting this in meatballs or something like that, I would rub it. But because it's just going into the cavity, I'm just going to go ahead and and do that. All right, so there we go. And just use the tongs to get it all in there. And then this is going to smell like Thanksgiving with the sage and the bay leaves. This is, they put sage in stuffing and stuff like that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some salt, and I'm just going to put some salt over the top of it. I have found out this week that on carnivore you don't need as much salt as you do on keto. So we're just going to do a light salt. And then I'll put a little bit of paprika on it because it just makes it a little pretty. and then I'll top it off with just a touch of oregano as well, just to give it a bunch of flavors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in my oven. I've had my oven preheating. It's at 375. And I'm going to cook this until it's done. Now, it'll probably take a good 1.5 or 2 hours, but once it's done it'll be golden and beautiful and tender and juicy. So I'll show you that when it's done. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this into the oven right now, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and the next thing I'm going to prep is food for my daughter for lunch. She, like I said, she's not carnivore or keto, but she does like a lot of our food. So one of the things that she really likes to take for lunch is chicken legs. And I got this bag on sale last week, and I threw it in my freezer. I actually got 3 bags of it. $2.95 for 5 pounds of chicken legs. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to put them on our baking sheet, which I have lined with parchment. And then we will season them up. Hopefully this will be big enough. I usually use my bigger ones, but I've got another recipe for that. And I think it'll be like 2 pans worth. So if they don't fit in here, I'll just grab another little baking pan and throw them in there. But it looks like we're going to be able to fit all of these on here snugly. All right, so we've got them on here, and we're going to season these up. But of course, the first thing I'm going to do is wash my hands. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and I'm ready to season these. My daughter, she likes her chicken wings spicy, so we always, again, add a little bit of oregano, and I'm going to throw some salt on here in just a second as well. I usually start with the salt, but I don't know why I didn't this time. I was too excited about the oregano, I guess. And yeah, so we're just going to throw a little bit of salt on these, because a little bit of salt is good. It brings out the flavor, and it's just, salt is a good thing too, but not too much. And then what we'll do, again, paprika. I'm just going to do a quick little toss of paprika on these. And she likes hers spicy. So I'm also going to take some cayenne pepper and put this on here for her as well. I'm going to put these in the 375-degree oven for about, I would say, an hour. And when they come out, they will be nice and golden brown on both sides. And you know, you would think that cooking for an hour would make it really dried out, but they're always really nice and tender. So let me go ahead and put those in the oven next to the pan of the whole chicken. All right, I am back with my third and probably final recipe for this video. I have in here, I got from Walmart one of those big 10-pound tubs of ground beef, and what I did is I weighed it out and I put it into 1-pound packages. This is actually 4 pounds of ground beef, so this is, you know, 4 days worth of food here that I'm going to make, or you know, because we do try to eat at least a pound of meat a day. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and to it I am going to add 2 tablespoons of oregano. And I'm also going to add a teaspoon of salt, actually a ½ teaspoon of salt. And I'm also going to add ½ teaspoon of fennel seed, which I really like. So these are going to have more of an Italian flavor to them than, actually we're going to do a teaspoon of that. That's a lot of meat. And if you notice, I didn't add any breadcrumbs, I didn't add any Parmesan cheese, I didn't add any eggs or anything like that. This is it. This is the whole recipe. I'm going to take off my ring and put it over here. And then all we're going to do is we're going to mix it up and make some meatballs. And it's really easy. What I like to do when I make meatballs is I like to take the meat out about 30 minutes to an hour before I'm going to make them, because then the meat gets to room temperature. I have a really hard time with my hands getting too cold and hurting, and so I always try to have my meat a little bit more room temperature so that mixing it isn't as big a deal. Now, you could do this with half and half beef and pork. You could do this with beef and chicken. You could do it with pork and chicken. You could do it with chicken and turkey. You know, there's all sorts of different combinations that you could do with this. But let me smell it real quick. I don't know, it just doesn't smell like it's got very much oomph to it, but I'm sure it'll be fine. All right, so what I made this last week and we really enjoyed it. My husband, he really likes to use barbecue sauce. So he uses the G Hughes sugar-free barbecue sauce, and he put these meatballs with the barbecue sauce, and he really enjoyed it. So I know that the barbecue sauce is not as carnivore friendly as it is keto friendly, but you know, if that's the worst thing that he's eating, I am okay with that, because, you know, at least he's sticking to it as much as he can. And he still does have his Zevia drinks, which, you know, that's for him. But I mean, he's losing weight. He's lost about 7 pounds now, 6 pounds, something like that. And his blood sugar is coming down. He had a little high sugar yesterday, but it was not because of the Zevia or the barbecue sauce. We'll just put it at that. So yeah, this is just all I'm gonna do. And since I know that it's 4 pounds, what I'm going to do is, once I get all of the meatballs made, I'm gonna count them up and divide it by 4, and then I know how many each pound of meat is going to make. And when I made these last week, I actually made 16 meatballs per pound. So I thought it was pretty good. 1 ounce meatballs, just eyeballing it. Sorry, that was really bad. That was really bad. But you know how to do meatballs, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up these, and I will probably put them on 2 pans because I have a feeling they're going to need it. These will shrink as they cook, but that's okay. That's why I'm making them a little bit bigger. And you can also put them closer to excuse me. You can also put them closer together and you know, put more on a pan. 3, 6, yeah, let's do that. We're gonna move these down just a little bit so that we can fit 8 in a row. I bet you I could put a 5th row there. So I'm gonna do that as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish up these meatballs, and when everything is done cooking, I will bring you back to show you everything and how it turned out. That was one of my pans moving underneath my island. So anyway, I will see you guys in a little bit. Hey guys, I am back, and I wanted to show you that I got everything done, and I wanted to show you how it all turned out. So I'm going to turn you down so you can see everything. All right, so here we have the chicken legs. All of this just came out of the oven, so it's really hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them cool on this pan for a little bit, and then what I'll do is I'll just put it, I've got those big square Tupperware containers, and I'll just throw them in there, and we'll put the lid on and put them in the refrigerator. Here's the meatballs that I made, and if it doesn't look like there's much there, there's a reason why, because I had to put in 2 pans. The first pan took about 25-30 minutes to cook, and then I put the second pan in. Well, when the first pan came out, I was hungry, my husband was hungry, and so, yeah, so we've already had a good portion of those. And then the last thing I want to show you is going to be the whole chicken that I made. Let me turn this around here for you so you can see it. And I just wanted to show you that it turned out really well. And I don't know if I've ever shown you this before or not, but one thing you can do to see if the chicken is done, if you don't have like a thermometer or anything, all you have to do is lift up on the leg, and if it's easily movable, then it's done. It's a really simple way of testing for it, and that's it. So what I'll do is I'll leave it in the pan for now, and again I'm gonna let it cool, and I'll probably put it in the refrigerator just like this, and then we'll just eat off of it throughout the week. Like I said, we'll take the bones and we'll make some bone broth out of it. I'll use the juices that are in the pan and put those as part of the broth as well, and it brings a different flavor to it, and it's really super good. So I hope you liked prepping with me today. This is going to really help me out a lot in the coming week, and I'm really excited. So I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and have a good week.